Hello, I'm Nura. Welcome to my channel. Last week on my Instagram account, I asked whether you wanted to see me bake cookies or wanted to see me talk about secondhand cameras. And surprisingly, cookies won with a 59% over 41. So today I'm gonna be baking gingerbread cookies, and I'm also going to be talking about secondhand cameras in a couple of days. So if you haven't done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you don't miss it. Let's move on to the recipe. Like I said, today's recipe is gingerbread cookies, and in Finnish they're called Piparkakku or Piparkakut, if it's plural. And this is a very popular recipe, especially during Christmas season. But in our house, my son and husband both love them. And now that we're inside all the time, I think I'm at a stage where I just want to bake. So I realized that I had all the ingredients. So this is going to be quite easy. And you can find all the ingredients down in the description box. And I'm also going to be adding some alternatives to things I think might be a little harder to find, or might not you might not have them at your house, or if you want to bake a vegan alternative. So I'm going to be adding them into parentheses down in the description box. And let's see how I make these. I'm gonna start by going over the ingredients. So the first thing we're gonna need is some dark syrup, and along with that I'm gonna be using some sugar as well. And of course this is a cookie, so we are gonna need some flour and also some butter that I have here. And what else? We have one egg and some baking soda. And as far as the spice goes, we got some cinnamon, some ginger, and cardamom, which is really popular in Finland, and also some cloves. And the recipe calls for ground cloves, but I have them as whole, so I'm gonna try and grind it. And of course, a heating pot. I'm gonna start by mixing the sugars and the spices, and I'm gonna need 1.5 deciliter of dark syrup, and you can replace this with honey or dark sugar mixed with water. So I'm just gonna be writing it all down in the description box, the amounts that I use and the possible replacements. But I already had some dark syrup at home from a previous recipe, so I'm just gonna be adding that directly to this one. And I'm just gonna, okay, this is gonna be easier with the spatula. And I could have actually just squeezed it into the pot because I noticed that there are some markings on the bottle, but I was too late in seeing that. So, and this is gonna work. And on top of this, I'm gonna be adding the regular sugar, and I'm gonna be adding 1/4 cup of it, if I recall correctly, or half a cup, I don't know. And then I'm gonna be adding the spices. So I'm gonna be adding 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and then 1 teaspoon of cardamom, and 1 teaspoon again of ginger. All of these bottles have the Finnish name, so I'm trying to get the correct English name. Sorry for the delay. And we also need some cloves, and like I said, I only had the whole one, so I'm trying to grind them up between 2 of the measuring cups. I grind it up a little bit, and I'm trying to get all the small bits and pieces in there. And if I have a little bit whole left, that's going to be totally fine because it's not a bad thing. And I'm just going to be mixing it up a little and then melting it all in a low heat. It's all melted now, so I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and I'm just gonna mix it up and let it sit for a couple minutes. I let it rest for 3 minutes and now I'm adding 125 grams of butter that I'm going to be cutting up into pieces and melting in this. My mixture is cooled a little bit, so now it's time to add the egg. And if you don't want to use an egg, you can always replace it with apple sauce or yogurt or some flax seeds as well if you want to go a vegan version. But I'm just going to be using one egg, and then I'm going to be adding 5.5 cups of flour to this. And this made a bunch of cookies, so I have like 5 trays, so you can always make half of this recipe or even less. And once I mix this, I'm gonna let the dough sit for about 3 or 4 hours, but you can always rest it overnight. Now it's time to cook these cookies, and I have these little camera shaped cookie cutters. Those are like bite sizes, and I also have this little set from IKEA that I'm gonna be using. And I let my dough sit for about 3 to 4 hours, so it's cold now. And I'm gonna bake some of this now and then let the rest bake tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. And I added some flour onto my pan here, or baking sheet rather, so that it doesn't stick. And I'm gonna be making these quite thin, so I'm trying to get it as thin as like 2 to 3 millimeters, so I have them really quickly baking. And I already have my oven on 200 degrees Celsius, and I'm gonna be baking them for 5 minutes in 200 degrees. And now we're ready to eat. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. And like I said, I'm going to be talking about how to select a second-hand camera in a couple days. And then in an upcoming video, I'm going to be making some mezes now that we're home as well. Because like I said, I'm at my bake and cook stage. And so I hope you will be joining me in the next videos. Bye!